We'll all sing together because the DJ sound is faulty. So we'll all sing the national anthem together, and thereafter the FUTIA anthem will be played. 1, 2, go. Nigeria. Ready for in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign monarch. May we please remain upstanding for the FUTIA anthem. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take total control in the name of Jesus. As we listen, we learn, and we are imparted. Father, may we all also be blessed. In Jesus' mighty name I pray.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. At this point in time, I'd like to once again welcome each and every one of you who have made out time to be here today. The organizers are indeed very grateful that you were able to honor them with your presence. I'd like to, before we proceed into what we have on the order of program for today, set the protocol for this event. This is an academic activity, one of the ground norms as far as the academia is concerned. An inaugural lecture, but I'm here to let us know that this is an inaugural lecture. It is more like an abridged version of an inaugural lecture. What we have here today is a lecture series, and today's event is the third. We had the first, the second, and the third. And it is my singular honor and privilege to, at this point in time, thank the management for thinking it wise and proper to set up this event. Having said that, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the academia, greatest Nigerian students here seated, the Vice Chancellor said, permit me to proceed to recognize members of the management team of our great institution who are here seated. Before we proceed to recognize other dignitaries here seated in our midst. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you the management staff of our university, led by our pioneer Vice Chancellor, a Professor of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Peter would say he is Aquaibom's gift to the world. It is my singular honor and privilege to introduce to you our Vice Chancellor, Professor Leo Daniel. Please celebrate him with a round of applause. You're welcome, sir. He has led the management team very formidably, and for that we are grateful. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this point in time to recognize a woman I respect and I have every reason to draw lessons from her style of administration. I refer to her as one who is a thoroughbred professional in her own right, one who is a seasoned administrator. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to introduce to you the Registrar of our University and Secretary Council, in the person of C.Eng. We celebrate and welcome you, ma'am, for all you do for us here at FUTIA. Thank you very much. She works tirelessly around the clock to ensuring that the administrative angle of this school is effectively managed. Still on the order of protocol, distinguished guests, please may I introduce to you our lecturer for today. He is a thoroughbred professional, an ICANN certified accountant, a man who is very particular about detail, a man who, for you to get by him, you must dot your I's and cross your T's. I refer to him as the bullion van of FUTIA. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the bossa of our university. Please celebrate him with a warm round of applause. Dr. Mbobo Erasmus Mbobo, our lecturer for today. You're welcome, sir. Distinguished guests, may I introduce to you the last but not the least on the management team of our university, a man of letters. I say when you listen to him, you would be abreast with some very difficult as far as grammar is concerned. With a warm round of applause, please let's welcome the librarian of our university, Professor Philip Ako. We celebrate you and we welcome you, sir. Thank you very much for all you do for us here at FUTIA. We thank you very much. Distinguished guests, the aforementioned. I need your assistance here, please. Can you check that out? Thank you. The aforementioned officers of our great university, and together they have brought FUTIA to where it is today. As far as I'm concerned, FUTIA is 3 years old, but we are breaking grounds and, of course, expanding into new frontiers. I'd like you, respectfully, to celebrate our management team with a thunderous applause. They have done a fantastic job. Thank you very much. We celebrate all you do, and we thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, time has been fast spent. I may not have enough time to go into mentioning every person here seated, but I'd like to, at this point in time, standing, of course, on the protocol I have established so far, to recognize the dean, the provost, rather, of schools who are here seated. I see the provost of School of Agriculture seated. I see the Dean of Student Affairs seated. I extend my warm appreciation to you for finding out time to be a part of this event. Time will fail me should I want to go into mentioning all of your names, but be rest assured that you are highly welcome. All right, I'm going to do just that. I'd like to recognize the Provost of Smart who is here seated. We celebrate you. And by extension, all other provosts who are here today, please celebrate them with a round of applause. They are doing a fantastic job manning each of the schools we have here at FUTIA. And trust me, our students are high flyers in every sense of the word. I'd like to also recognize heads of department who are here seated. Time will fail me to recognize you individually, but be rest assured that you are celebrated and you are highly recognized. I also like to recognize heads of other divisions who are here, and also recognize members of the academic staff who are here seated, members of the non-academic staff who are here seated. We recognize and celebrate you for all you do, for turning out en masse to ensuring that this event is successful. For that, we are indeed very grateful. Please celebrate yourselves one more time. May I also celebrate, very importantly, our students who are here seated. Greatest Nigerian students! Ever conscious Nigerian students! Are you here? Let me see your hands if you're here, please. 5 poster, please. Represent yourself properly. 5 poster, please. Thank you very, very much. I also like to very quickly recognize the chairman of this inaugural lecture today. He has worked alongside his team members around the clock to ensuring that we have a successful event. He has worked tirelessly around the clock to ensuring that we have a beautiful event here today. Please, with a thunderous applause, let's celebrate the chairman of the lecture series committee, Professor Ime Jonah Omoren. We celebrate you, sir. Thank you very much for all you do. May I also recognize distinguished persons who have found out time to celebrate and be part of today's event. Guest of our bossa, of our lecturer today. I'd like to recognize Professor Usenudo. He is from the University of Uyo and he is here seated. We celebrate and welcome you, sir. Thank you very much for stopping by. May I also respectfully recognize a former Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Godwin Abraham. You're welcome, sir. We celebrate you. Thank you very much for making our time to be here today. Thank you very much. As more guests arrives, introductions will be made accordingly. Thank you very much. Having said that,
Barrister Abasi, Registrar, Federal University of
oh my God. Okay, I'd like to formally recognize the registrar of the Federal University of Agriculture, OBOPA, the tier robber federal institution that's been set up here. Sir, we celebrate and recognize you. You are welcome to FUTIA. You are welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by. I'd like to, at this point in time, move on to the next item here on our program order, which is the tone setting by the chairman, inaugural lecture committee, Professor Ime Jonah Omoren. At this point in time, please make him feel welcome with a round of applause as he makes his way to the podium for his tone setting address.
Good afternoon, all. First, we have to say good afternoon, my very dear Vice Chancellor and the management team. Good afternoon, staff, students, the university community, and our special guest. Welcome. Indeed, I have the honor to welcome you to the third lecture series of Federal University of Technology, Ikot Abasi, FUTIA. We gather here today to engage in a very meaningful dialogue that challenge our perspective and expand the boundaries of knowledge. The lecture series was specifically designed to catalyze and then also stimulates intellectual engagement in the university community, and as well a discourse that will provide solutions to our interests and critical issues in our nations. We start with the university and then the country and the world at large. Actually, we would engage in a very high-profile intellectual debate and then thought-provoking discussions and interactions. And at the end, we will gain knowledge and that will be useful in the society. Before we start, I would have to specially recognize our very lecturer today. He's a personality in the university. He's our university bossa, Dr. Mbobo E. Mbobo. I've made to know that Mbobo is an expert in public sector accounting and governance. You know what that means. He would share his knowledge, his expertise in a topic, financial management in the university system, unbundling the theatrics, understanding the dynamics. We have having x-rayed the topic, we have a very fascinating topic, a thought-provoking session ahead of us right away. Please turn off your mobile devices, open your minds, and then listen to a very discussion that would inspire you in the university community. At the end of it, I want to appeal to everyone to be seated, listen, and be blessed. God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you can do better. Please celebrate the chairman of the inaugural lecture committee. Thank you very much. They have done a fantastic job. Before I move on to the next item, I'd like to add here that today's public lecture is designed to promote intellectual discourse, like the chairman has said, and stimulate critical thinking, and also provide practical insight into issues affecting our society and national development. Now, this is very beautiful because the lecture is tailored towards how the university management is and should work optimally. Having said that, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while the chairman of the lecture series committee was giving his tone-setting address, a beautiful woman walked into the hall. They say, behind every successful man, it's a woman. But I'd like to add, now I hear it's different. They say beside, no longer behind. Beside every successful man, there is a resilient woman standing beside him. Having said that, please, with a thunderous applause, let's welcome and make her feel very, very welcome here at FUTIA. The wife of our guest lecturer today, Dr. Mrs. Mbobo. She walked in while the chairman was giving his tone-setting address. You're welcome, ma'am. We celebrate you. She's a former commissioner, and she has made out time to be here today to support her husband. You're welcome to the Federal University of Technology, Abasi. And thank you very much for allowing your husband to work. Thank you very much for releasing your husband to us. We celebrate you, and we welcome you once again. Having said that, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I very, very quickly invite to the podium for his welcome remark the Vice Chancellor of our great institution, a great citadel of learning. Please, with a warm round of applause, let's welcome to the podium Professor Leo Daniel, our Vice Chancellor, as he makes his way to present his welcome remark. Please celebrate him. You can do better. Oh.
Thank you, Aris. I would have gone to the podium, but I'm not the one giving the lecture, because that podium is designed for lecturers like the one we want to listen to, Dr. Erasmus Mbobo. I welcome all of you here. I think this is the third series of the FAIAA University of Technology, Ikot Abasi lecture series. we started, I was the pioneer and the first lecturer. I can remember that. And I remember we did not have a house like this, but today it's full. So I don't know, those that are standing at the back, I don't know if they don't have a seat to sit down so that they can listen to us carefully. I welcome all of you. My Lord and how do you say the temporary, we're sitting there. I'm surprised you are here. And I was telling the lecturer, how did you pull him to this place to give us the do's and the don'ts of legislative? So you're welcome, sir. And all the provosts of the schools, the lecturers, the department heads, we are here to listen to financial, let me just read it exactly as it is, financial management in the university system. Financial management in the university system. I think it's the most difficult system ever since I came in here to understand how it works. So the one and only bursar of the university is going to educate us on the financial management of the university. Unbundling the theatrics. I don't know what that means, but I hope you will explain that to us and understanding the dynamics. Of course, the dynamics is something I can explain with F is equal to minus F. Sir, yeah, that is 10 Newton's law. So that's the dynamics we want to listen to. So you're welcome. Sit tight and listen to this financial management system that are going to be great. And all of us will have time to about 2 or 3 questions to ask. But I have a very important question I will ask him after the lecture. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much there, Vice Chancellor. Thank you. We are almost getting to the crux of today's matter, the reason why we are all gathered today. But before that happens, if you go through our program order, you would see that we just finished item number 7, and we are moving to item number 8, which is the reading of citation and presentation of the lecturer by the university orator. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a warm round of applause, please welcome Professor Okon E. Etem to the podium as he takes the citation of our guest lecturer for today. I think you can do better, actually.
Thank you, the moderator. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I am very privileged at this point to give instruction, and permit me at this point in time to ask Dr. Mbobo Erasmus Mbobo to please take few steps. We would love to have you here because we want to behold the guest lecturer. A brief citation for Dr. Mbobo Erasmus Mbobo, Ph.D., Fellow, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, Adia University Librarian, Provost of Schools, Directors of Unit, distinguished professors, heads of department, members of the Senate, eminent staff of FUTIA, invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today we gather not just to listen to a lecture, but to be guided through the often complex, sometimes misunderstood labyrinths of universal finance. Our guest speaker has been tasked with a critical assignment to unbundle the theatrics and unpack the dynamics of financial management within the university system. To do this, we need someone who does not just understand the theory from a textbook, but lives and breathes the practice from the trenches. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to us a quintessential blend of academic scholar, seasoned administrator, and highly proficient chartered accountant. Born about 6 decades ago in Edemea, Ikot Abasi local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Our guest lecturer's life story reflects that of discipline, diligence, intellectual excellence, and unwavering commitment to professional integrity. His academic journey begins at Government Primary School, Ukan 1, and Secondary Commercial School, Ibekwe, where he distinguished himself as an outstanding student, earning a certificate for academic excellence. Vice Chancellor, sir, our guest lecturer holds a higher national diploma in accounting from Federal Polytechnic, Ida in Kogi State. Most importantly, he emerged as at that year as the overall best graduating student in the department. He went on to earn an MBA in accounting and culminated his academic ascent with a Doctor of Philosophy in accounting from the prestigious University of Uyo. His professional profile is equally imposing. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, an associate of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. His expertise spans international public sector accounting standards, IPSAS, international financial reporting standards, IFRS, and a mastery of ICT and accounting packages. Our guest lecturer's academic journey is marked by excellence and commitment. He has served as a senior lecturer adjunct status at the University of Uyo, had served at Akwa Ibom State University, and currently at the very institution he now leads financially, the Federal University of Technology, Abasi, on a part-time status, respectively. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, but what makes him uniquely suited for today's topic is his trajectory as a hands-on financial administrator. Our guest lecturer has served as a pioneer bursar of Akwa Ibom State University of Technology, ACTI, following his services as a deputy bursar. Again, pioneering, since 2022, he has occupied the pivotal role again as a pioneer bursar of the Federal University of Technology, Ikot Abasi, a position where he navigates daily the very theatrics and dynamics he promises to demystify today. Before stepping into university administration, our guest lecturer had cut his teeth as an audit manager at Aviator and Co. Chartered Accountant, and as a state accountant with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. This rich tapestry of experience, from auditing to banking, from state finance to university bursary, affords him a panoramic view of public financial management that few can claim. Beyond the numbers, our guest lecturer is a leader of leaders. He has served as chairman of ICAN, Akwa Ibom State Chapter, and currently serves as Center Coordinator of ICANN for Kwai State Study Center, shaping the next generation of professional accountants. His scholarly output is prolific, with numerous publications in local and international journals on financial reporting, audit committee, taxation, and public sector accountability. He has also presented seminar papers on IPSAS, tax audit, and internal revenue generation. Mr. Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mbobo is a man of high integrity, exemplary leadership, and analytical precision, a sound scholar, and a consummate team player. Mr. Vice Chancellor, we pause to decipher where the strength comes from. And we discovered that his jewel of inestimable value is a Ph.D. holder in economics. Distinguished guest, today's lecture topic, financial management in the university system, unbundling the theatrics, understanding the dynamics, could not have been found a more qualified presenter, but the one whose contour lines in his palms understand the texture of any currency globally. As a scholar, administrator, chartered accountant, tax professional, and university bursar, with extensive practical experience, Dr. Mbobo possesses the intellectual depth, professional insight, and administrative exposure required to illuminate the realities, complexities, challenges, and evolving dynamics of financial management within modern university system. Again, having served as a teacher, a mentor, an auditor, and now a chief financial custodian of a federal university, today he steps forward not just as a bursar, but as a thought leader ready to pull back the curtain on university financial management. It is therefore my singular honor to invite our distinguished chartered accountant, an erudite scholar, the current bursar of the Federal University of Technology, Abasi, our guest lecturer for today, Dr. Mbobo Erasmus, Ph.D. Fellow of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, to please take over the podium and present the third lecture series of this innovation-driven university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the orator of the university. I think the cap really fits you. Thank you very much. I didn't know, I'm not sure I could have written that kind of something about myself. I really appreciate that. My Vice Chancellor, sitting today as the chair of this occasion, the Madam Registrar of the university, a dynamic administrator, the university librarian, erudite scholar, provost of schools, particularly provost of SMART, the SMART provost, heads of departments, particularly head Department of Accounting, no, let me not go that protocol. Let me specially pay tribute to a man whom I can call my mentor, a friend in need, and a friend indeed. I don't know how I can call a chief just a friend, but he has shown himself friendly, Jesus said to the disciple, I can no longer call you my disciple, you are my friend. Let me sincerely thank the Chief Judge, immediate past Chief Judge of Akwa State, for honoring us today with his esteemed presence. His Lordship, Chief Justice Godwin Abraham. I'm so grateful. Professor Usaid Udo is my mentor, former President Mbobo Demeya, where I serve as his secretary. And he used me so much to run around. Prof, I'm so happy that you are here today. Let me also sincerely thank my another senior brother who has found time to be here. He has been a very great brother in need, a prayer partner, the tier robber registrar of the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology. Brother Abasi Isaiah, so happy to see you here. Let me at the same time not skip my dear wife for honoring us with the esteemed presence. Darling, I appreciate you. Let me go back to my constituency by appreciating the elder scholars of this university, the lecturers and directors of various directorates and units, the non-teaching staff, particularly staff of the bursary department. My right-hand people, let me also greet the great students of FUTIA. I don't know how to say that thing, but you are great. In particular, the students accounting department and the entire smart students. Gentlemen of the press, let me stand on the system protocol. It's indeed my great pleasure to be here today to present the third lecture, public lecture series of this university. Please, protocol, I want to use the slide. Can I step out from here? Please, I want to use the slide. The remote, sir. Peter, the remote. No, let me do it myself, please. What is that? Hey, let me be in charge of my lecture. Give me the eyeglass. Give me my glass. Give me my glasses. Yeah. It's my singular pleasure and honor to be a lecturer in today's occasion. Oh, I did not recognize the representative of the chairman of council, the leader of council, and his deputy that are here. Today, I am presenting a lecture titled Financial Management of the University System. And today, I am the lecturer, and every other person, including my bachelor, due respect, are but my students. Okay, can I have the presentation will take the form as is shown there, a brief preambles, followed by introduction, and we go down. I can't see from here. I wanted to control the mic so that I can remote so I can do it myself. Maybe it's about 80 slides. They're not going to go through all of that. Let me also say that to make this lecture something we can recall, we have. Oh, my dear son is also here. Anybody, you are recognized. Please stand up for recognition. A young graduate of economics. He did not want to do accounting. He followed the mother's step to do economics. Maybe you can still be into accounting along the line. I appreciate you. Preambles. As a doctoral student many years ago, my lecturer, Prof. Edward of blessed memory, gave us an assignment to pick a topic for a research paper. And I wrote something, accounting, accountants, and accountability. When he picked the topic, he read out in the class. He asked me would I have read the work of Professor Inoenaga, of which I answered in the negative. He promised to give me a copy, which he did. When they brought the copy of Inoenaga's work, I read through the work. One major takeaway from the work of Professor Inoenaga was that public lecture from the scholar have traditionally tended to serve as opportunity to use one's discipline to reflect on matters that are both of academic interest and sufficient importance and concern to the wider society. I've always thought of public lecture as an exclusive reserve of professors, especially newly appointed ones. In fact, my reading of Professor Inoenaga's work gave me the impression that the two words are used interchangeably. The recent research has revealed that there is a line of difference between the two words. While inaugural lecture, though a public lecture, is exclusively for newly appointed professors and is presented once in the life of a professor, a public lecture per se presenter may not necessarily be a newly appointed professor. A scholar who has something of interest and sufficient importance and concern to the wider society, especially in his or her area of expertise, can utilize the medium of public lecture to educate the public on such topical issue. And that as many times as he possibly can. The main objective of a public lecture, according to Innovana and Innovana 2018, is to transfer knowledge, help broaden horizon, and unleash listeners' creative potentials to develop one's value orientation and moral qualities in professional, social activities, in personal life. Typically, universities go for someone with a strong background in a given field, usually sound scholars, academics, industry experts, or renowned researchers to present public lectures. I must once again sincerely commend the Public Lecture Planning Committee of FUTIA for the initiative of considering principal officers for public lecture presentation in their own field of expertise. In 2016, I was admitted into the prestigious club of scholars when I earned a Doctor of Philosophy degree in accounting from the prestigious University of Uyo. Since then, I have been in and out of classroom and the business world, teaching and practicing accounting and finance. It seems to me that I'm usually more at home, while in the classroom, teaching and training would be accountants, than when in the office with calculators trying to manage and account for the ever limited and continually limited resource called finance. Besides the numerous students who have passed through me at undergraduate and postgraduate levels, both at University of Oyo and Akwa Ibom State University, I've also been instrumental to the qualification of over 300 young men and women as chartered accountants between 2018 to date, through the instrumentality of Akwa Ibom State Icon Study Center, where I serve as a coordinator as well as a lecturer. The topic of this lecture, financial management in the university system, the theatrics and the dynamics, I believe, have been crafted to meet the standard of my secondary school English teacher, who once taught us that essay topic should be like a lady's skirt, long enough to cover the essentials and short enough to arouse curiosity. I believe many people in this hall are curious to know what is theatrical about financial management. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. The dynamics rider relates to the whole gamut of financial management, and of course, is the meat and bone of this lecture. Please come with me as we sail together into the lecture. Okay, introduction. Like I said, I will not read through this. I will go to only important areas. The lecture material have been graciously made available to everyone that is in this hall, courtesy of two friends of the university. When I was thinking of doing this lecture, and I said, this is something I would like people to hold and keep and reflect on, I put a call to a friend of the university to sponsor the printing of the lecture material, and he gladly did. Though that did not cover the cost, when I called the second person, I think it was enough to print the material to as many people as possible that are here. Those people have been duly acknowledged in the lecture material. Saying that to say a big thank you to the Progressive Group and the Ramsky Investment, who has proved themselves as a friend of the university. Okay. The topic for this lecture we have already been introduced as the financial management in the university system. Of course, finance, we know, is an ubiquitous subject in that it touches the lives of all subjects under the sun. Finance has been described as the lifeblood of every organization. This implies that just as no man can live without blood, so can no organization exist without finance. The central aim of this lecture is geared towards achieving effective financial management in the university system. The work of the university bursar at the head of the university financial system, and the workings of the university financial system is grossly misunderstood by many stakeholders. This misunderstanding creates a yawning gap, a yawning expectation gap, yearning to be bridged. This study aims to bridge that gap. To achieve this aim, the study will focus on the what, the why, and the how of financial management in the university system. We decided to bridge the lecture by looking at the word of financial management. Why is financial management important? How do we manage finance, especially in the university system? Again, What other important aspect of the topic is the university system. And so we also look at the concept of university system. In doing that, we try to look at the origin, the historical origin of university, and something quite interesting pop up. All along, we have been made to believe that the first set of university, in fact, the first university was the University of Bologna, but this research has revealed that indeed the first university was on African soil in Morocco, and that was about 859 AD. And that was also followed by yet another university in Egypt. That we will see very much in the Africa is trailing behind among them in the university ranking that we have to address. All right. The oldest university still operating degree granting in the world, arguably, is the University of Al-Hunayn in Fez, Morocco, founded in 859 by a young Muslim princess named Fatima Al-Firi. This was followed by Al-Zaq University in Cairo, Egypt, established in 970 AD. These two universities predate other universities in Europe, such as University of Bologna, 1080, Oxford University, 1096, among others. Okay, coming to Nigeria. In Nigeria, the first university started as a university college in Ibadan in 1948. It became a fully independent university in 1962. Opened in October 1960, University of Nigeria Nsukka gained the status of the first fully autonomous individual university established by a Nigerian regional government. Today, we have over 309 universities in Nigeria, including FUTIA, and of course including food, agri, and technology. We try to list the universities as appendix in this lecture for research, for the benefit of research students. This lecture is not about the history of university. It was pertinent to capture this unique history to elicit academic engagement. Our concern here is how these early universities were funded and managed financially so as to enable us to draw inference with contemporary times. Okay. Governance model and financial management system in the age of the early universities. In summary, we discovered that early universities were self-funded. Most of them were highly supported by the church. The Catholic Church played a prominent role in the formation of universities. Even University of Bologna was formed by students, but the instrument of recognition was given by the Pope. And so Catholic Church is highly recognized in the history of the formation of universities. The detail of that is found in the lecture material. Most universities in the United States generate huge sum of money, whereas most universities in Africa are still grappling with the challenge of poor funding. It would appear that inadequate funding, this is interesting, it would appear that inadequate funding has been a recurring decimal in the university system. The annals of university education have it that in the early days, the management of financial resources rests with the rector, equivalent of what is now called the vice chancellor, usually appointed by the students to see to the administration of the university. The rector will in turn appoint someone to keep the money for him on the behalf of the school. The person was named Bossa, spelled as B-U-R-S-A, the Latin word for the boss or leader for carrying money. Much of the budget went for payment of salaries and all that. Rep 1922 noted that to profit by the universities, including teachers and lecturers, was a perpetual problem in the medieval universities. Medieval universities relied heavily on donations from wealthy persons, church support, and student fees. This made them vulnerable to financial instability. Okay, income sources. University income came from both internal and external sources. Internal sources were fees by students for matriculation and graduation, fines on students, and gifts by wealthy individuals. Something very interesting about fine as a way of funding the university. You find in the lecture 3 categories of fines. For instance, if the student carry a stone to throw at the lecturer without even throwing, that attracts a fine. If he throws the stone and miss the target, that attracts another fine. If he throws the stone and hit the target, that was a huge fine. So they put all categories of fines to make sure that they get as much money as possible. But something very interesting about the issue of fine as a source of revenue was who collect these fines. Whether the vice chancellor called him rector and the registrar will sit down to craft the law to pay the fines by students. When this student comes to pay the fine, who is collecting the fine? Mr. Bossa. You can now agree with me whether there will be a Bossa will be a friend to the students or not. Your guess is as good as mine. But it seems to me that that was the origin of the hate game of the university bosses, because they were asked to go and do some funny jobs. Okay. I think we can give the materials today. Okay. I'm told by the technical team that this lecture is on Zoom as well as on YouTube and Facebook. Our official handle. Sorry. Okay. It is viewed live globally. I want to be that my friends out there in Canada and UK will be viewing along. When they posted this on the Facebook, I received quite some calls asking for the link. Okay, let's move on to the what, the why, and the how of financial management. Please, can we give the lecture materials to the participants while this is going on so they not be rowdy? To understand financial management, it is imperative to first dissect the concept of finance. Finance has been defined as the management of money. Money plays a significant role in the life of an individual as well as business. Everyone requires enough money to meet basic requirements such as payment for everything you need to purchase. Right from the conceiving of idea to start a business to its liquidation, finance plays a very dominant role. Therefore, finance is the engine room of a business organization. Without it, the heart or brain of a business cannot function. Too simply, finance is all about dealing with and managing money. It refers to the flow of money and how people, companies, and government make and spend money. The description of how people, like individual household, raise and spend money is referred to as personal finance. The way companies and organizations raise and spend money is described as corporate finance, whereas that of the government is referred to as public finance. Okay, we have already mentioned the issue of finance as a lifeblood of the organization. We have said that without money, just like without blood, no human being can survive. Without money, no organization can also survive. Finance as a language of business. Again, we say that finance is the language of business. The story of a maker, a young man who was helping his father in Indonesia market. My brother from the eastern side will agree with me. As a young man, you have to help your father in the market to do some trading. Emeka was very sharp and the father wanted him to go to school. He took Emeka to the school for admission. He told the headmaster that Emeka is a very intelligent person. Put him in class 2. It's okay, I'm going to give you a small test. Emeka, 2 plus 3 minus 1. Emeka could not answer. Okay, said your boy is very intelligent. Okay, Emeka, 2 plus 2. Emeka did not answer. The father said, Emeka, 2 naira plus 3 naira minus 1 naira. It's 4 naira. Emeka, 2 naira plus 2 naira, 4 naira. So, what is the difference? When the man was talking 2 plus 2 minus, without adding the naira, Emeka would not understand what you are talking about. So, that confirms that indeed, finance is the language of business. To agree with Emeka's story, Unbundling 2025 said that there are 3 languages in business, namely finance, accounting, and economics. This is because it is the core principle behind finance, accounting, and economics that drive business decisions across businesses. It is often said that the only language the business understands is finance or money. Every other principles are assumed or subsumed in the finance or money. All right. We move on. We have dealt with finance as the language of our business. Okay, the question now is then, what is financial management? Financial management be defined in different ways by different authors. According to Van Horn, financial management is the process of planning, organizing, controlling, and monitoring the financial resources of the organization so as to achieve the organization's goals and objectives. It involves making decisions of how to acquire, how to allocate, and use the financial resources in a way that maximizes the value of the organization and its stakeholders. Financial management is essential for all types of organizations, from small businesses to large corporations, as well as individuals and universities. Sound financial management is necessary. Okay, let me take this. Sandy and Blair 2018 sees financial management as one of the most important functional areas of management because the success of any organization greatly depends on the proper utilization of financial resources. There's been a wrong conception that a finance manager is useful or financial manager is only useful in the private enterprises. Sound financial management is necessary in all organizations, whether profit making or non-profit organizations. Wherefore, about 150 years ago, Erasmus, a man widely acclaimed as the father of economics, told the world in his classic The World of Nations, the human wants are limitless, while the means of achieving them, the resources, are highly limited. Of all the resources, namely human, material, machine, and money, finance is the most limited one. Put differently, the limitation of finance is the limitation of all other resources. Finance has been described as the mother of all resources. It is the foundation that enables all other resources to be acquired and utilized. It follows therefore that if finance needs it, as they say, all other resources will catch cold. It follows also therefore that the limitation of finance is the limitation of all other resources. The contention between the unlimited human one and limited resources makes financial management extremely inefficient. Poor financial management or financial austerity, more than anything else, has been the major cause of the challenge of many organizations the world over. Managing finance is crucial because it helps in the planning and allocation of limited resources effectively, making choices that maximizes satisfaction and achieving goals amidst unlimited human wants. Also help in monitoring and ensuring control over the limited resources. Monitoring expenses and ensuring value for money are the key parts of financial control. Okay, we're now going to go into the how of financial management. The how of financial management involves a systematic process of planning, acquiring, using, and controlling financial resources to achieve strategic goals. Financial performance is evaluated using reports and analysis to support financial decision making and improve future financial outcomes. Periodic examination and oversight activities are carried out by external bodies to make compliance or to ensure compliance with procedures and standards. This is where the theatrics are often displayed. Now we look at the theatrics of financial management. Western dictionary defines theatrics as exaggerated, artificial, or insincere behavior, especially to attract attention. Effective financial management therefore refers to the dramatic, the intense, and often complex and sometimes contentious aspects of financial management process within a given setting. In this lecture, we will not, for obvious reasons, dwell much on the artificial or insincere aspect of the financial management process in the university system. And that is because I still like to love my job. We intend to highlight the dramatic personnel and a little of their modus operandi as they impinge on the financial management in the public sector, especially in federal public universities. We are going to do so using the language and style of CSci. So we enter at once in one. Budgeting and resource allocation. Of course, you are going to that the starting point of every management process. Budget. In budgeting and resource allocation, those of us in the system will know that budgeting is the more you do, the less you save. Sometimes you are given envelope, what they call budget envelope. They give the figure for all the MDA for you to go there and break that into what you need. But behind the scene action will make some organizations to have more higher budget than some organizations, even the university. And so when you see University A having a huge budget allocation than University B, it is part of the strategy that is laid out in that place. Another one is the strategy of revenue allocation. Sometimes, even when this budget is given, to release the revenue is also having some need a place of theatrics. And the dramatic personnel here include the finance ministry, the budget office, office of Chancellor General, office of General, and of course the National Assembly. They constitute the dramatic personnel in this issue of budget and resource allocation. The technical elements in budget process, politics of budget allocation, and behind the scene negotiation. That is where the facts are usually displayed. There is also a high level of ethics when it comes to oversight and auditing. And like I said, for the sake of my job, let me not go much into that. Suffice to say that public universities, especially the federal one, are the ones that suffer the highest level of audit fatigue, because they're being audited by all kinds of teams as we speak. There are two waiting to come to us by this week. And the outcome is either here or there. So we see that a lot of service going out in this area. Again, at the level of management, we also play some service when it comes to cost management. That's another area that we play the service. And that was done by the National Assembly or it is within between the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, and sometimes the Porter that play the service. Whereby you can even when there is no money, you know there is no money, but this one has to be paid. And you wonder where the money comes out from to pay this one. When it has to pay for council matters and some other specific audience needs. So the service of no money is very common in the university system. Okay, let's look into the issue of the dynamics of financial management. Again, we have to look at issue of audit and financial control, a major area of financial management, financial control and accountability. Very important of innovation financial management is financial control and accountability. Innovation operates under strict financial regulations and audit requirements. Offices like the one we mentioned always come around to examine what we do. Regular internal and external audit help maintain transparency and reduce the risk of mismanagement or corruption. Financial control and accountability ensures the protection of the university's assets. According to Vickers, Richard and Mark, of all functions of financial management, protection of university's finance is the most traditional and by far the most widespread role of university financial management. All the other activities are at least to some extent depending on the tax being satisfactorily performed. Another function of another dynamic area of financial management is the revenue management and diversification. Talk about revenue generation, how to diversify to have home revenue, risk management, or uncertainty. Okay. Now, another important area is the managers of the university financial system. The managers of university financial system. If you can give me that slide, okay, I like it. That diagram. The financial management function of the university is the role and judgment are good. The governing council is the governing body of the university and is charged with the general control and superintendency of policies, finances, and property of the university. Council ensures that proper accounts of the university and each of its units are audited annually by an independent firm of auditors. Governing council are the highest decision-making body of the public university. They are responsible for the good order and governance of the university in terms of financial policy, performance, quality, and regulation. Second in the tripod is the Vice Chancellor. He is responsible for to the council for the overall management and control of funds of the university, and he is the Chief Accounting Officer of the university. The Vice Chancellor serves as the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Accounting Officer of the university, carrying direct responsibility for the financial health, strategic planning, and fiscal compliance of the institution. He or she is accountable to the Governing Council for the effective management of all financial resources, ensuring that funds are utilized efficiently to meet strategic, academic, and administrative objectives of the university. As the CEO of the university, the Vice Chancellor is responsible for the approval of all payments in the university, and except that red ink is on a document, no payment can be made from the university's funds. Take notice that where the approval for the project is outside the threshold limit of the Vice Chancellor, payment for the project must receive his or her approval before funds could be disbursed. We are saying that even when they said this is beyond its threshold, Yeah, the people that are supposed to give the approval will give, but then you see this red barrel so before payment can be made by the chief accounting officer. So that when things go wrong, EFCC will know the first person to come after. But if you think that with the red barrel or the vice chancellor on the document that's approval, that means payment. Perhaps you may be mistaken. Beyond this is approval, there are still some hurdles to be crossed before disbursement of funds. And so herein I like another theatrics. This can simply be illustrated by simple equation as follows. Equation 1 says that this is approval minus availability of funds is equal to no payment. Equation 2 says that availability of funds minus business approval, no payment. Equation 3 says that business approval, availability of funds without audit clearance, no payment. Business approval, availability of funds, audit clearance minus GIVMIS role players, no payment. Business approval, availability of funds without finalization by the OAGF, that is to see if it's capital payment, still amount to no payment. I'm going to illustrate equation 4. But before we do that, let's look at equation, let's illustrate equation 5, what we mean. Please take me to where please move forward to the next, move forward, go forward, go again, go. Yes, let's look at that cycle. The payment cycle in the bursary department. Now the starting point is that you must, number 1, there, you need request for payment, right? Request for payment. You have to make that request for payment and send to the vice chancellor. Whether you are a staff or a contractor, you must make request for the payment you are asking for. And then vice chancellor makes the approval, second box there, approval by the vice chancellor, and that move to the bursar. Bursar sends it for voucher writing. All right? Voucher is written and sent to internal audit for check. Internal auditor checks and send it back to the bursar. All right, after passing for payment, bursar will then approve payment and send to the central pay office for payment. Okay, then let's go back to the other diagram. Let's see how these things flow. So that sometimes we say, oh, this approval was made since yesterday. Why have we not been paid? Okay, that's the first one. All right, no, calm down. All right, now, want to look at the financial process in the university under the GIVMIS system. Under the GIVMIS system, GIVMIS is government integrated financial information management system. It's a platform, a new payment platform for the federal establishment. All right, you notice that in the first one there, when you are talking about recurrent expenditure, overheads. Now, after the bursar has sent to the central pay office for payment, like we said, without GIVMIS role players, payment cannot be made. Now, the role player will start the work. The first role player is initiator. Then it is placed in the bursary department. You will initiate the payment on the GIVMIS platform. And now the next person is the reviewer. That person is in the bursary department. You review the transaction and send it for approval. The next person to work on this here is the first approval, which is based in the bursary department. Approve the transaction and send for finalization. The the pay transaction is finalized, and that is when the person can receive money. That is for the overhead, the current expenditure. However, in the case of capital payment, system is different. It's in two tranches. The first tranche is what you call financial commitment. Financial commitment. Now, initiator of the financial commitment is based in the procurement department. You receive the voucher, initiate the payment process. They will also be reviewed by other officers still in the procurement department. Then the first approval is still in the Vice Chancellor will then approve and then send it to the final approval, which is based on the General of the Federation. When that is done, at the time of payment, when warrant is released, we are ready to make payment. Now, initiation will start. Again, in the budget department, we initiate payment for capital items. It will be reviewed by Office of the Vice Chancellor himself, do the review, and then sent to the Office of Chancellor of the Federation for the first approval and second final approval. Notice even after you have said you have received the warrant, you initiate the payment. This is have okayed it. It goes to Abuja. It lies there. So until eternity. That is simply how payment processes take place in the university system, especially under the GFMIS system. Okay, let's look at the third person in the report, the bossa. The third person among the financial manager of the university. The third man in the finance report of the university, the bossa. Bossa, the chief financial officer of the university, and responsible to the vice chancellor for the day-to-day administration and control of the financial affairs of the university. Will be not limited to the following: ensure that funds of the university are spent in accordance with the regulations laid down by council, and that no money of the university are spent without approval by the appropriate authority. To ensure that adequate supervision of the disbursement of university funds and proper monitoring and accounting for revenue. Receive on behalf of the university all subventions, fees, or anything has to do with money. You maintain proper accounting records of income and expenditure, assets and liabilities of the university. Ensures compliance with financial regulations and the accounting codes by all staff under his control and supervision. He maintains proper accounting records such as books of account, main and subsidiary ledgers of account. But if this was to be all about university bossa, then the job would have been very exciting. For the theatrics and the dynamics, let's enter into the real world of the university bossa. In section 5, we enter into the real world of the university bossa. The university bossa occupies one of the most sensitive and demanding positions in university administration. While the bossa is officially responsible for managing the financial affairs of the university, the real world experience of the office goes far beyond bookkeeping and payment processing. The bossa operates at the intersection of finance, administration, accountability, institutional survival, and stakeholders' expectations. In practice, the university bossa functions as the chief financial strategist of the university. The bossa oversees budgeting, revenue collection, expenditure control, payroll administration, procurement monitoring, financial reporting, auditing coordination, investment management, and financial advisory services to the Vice Chancellor and the Governing Council. Every major university activity, from academic program, staff salaries, infrastructure development, research funding, student services, tuition expansion depends significantly on the effectiveness of the bursary department. One of the major realities faced by the university bursar the world over is the challenge of inadequate funding. In many public universities in Nigeria and different countries of the world and the other different countries, government allocations are often insufficient to meet rising operational demands. Despite limited resources, the bursar is expected to ensure continuous institutional operation, payment of salaries, maintenance of facilities, and support for academic activities. This creates constant pressure to prioritize expenditure and manage scarce resources strategically. Okay, the real world university bursar is long, but let's look at the responsibility continue. Let's look at the bursar's expectation gap. The bursar's expectation gap. The theory of expectation gap was first propounded by Carl Liggio in 1974. However, the concept gained traction in the field of auditing through such work as Cohen Commission 1978, J.M. Kramer 1980, and Jenkins 1990. In the field of auditing, expectation gap refers to the difference between what the public or that user financial statement expect from the auditors and what auditors actually do or are required to do under professional standards. When we juxtapose this to the bursary and bursar's functions, expectation gap can be seen as the difference between what stakeholders expect of the bursar to do and what the bursar is actually required to or able to do under professional standards, laws, and institutional limitations. The bursar's expectation gap is a mismatch between stakeholders' expectation of the bursar's responsibilities and the actual duties, authorities, and practical capacity of the bursar. Oftentimes, expectation gap may arise due to lack of understanding of the bursar's professional role, belief that the bursar is responsible for all financial problems, including those caused by management decisions. Universities' expectation that the bursar must always make funds available. Unrealistic belief that the bursar control all university spending. Let's talk about FUTIA bursars. We're talking about bursars all over the world. The expectation gap can be reduced by clearly defining and understanding the bursar's role and responsibilities, educating stakeholders on financial policies and limitations, strengthening internal control and governance structures, improving communication and transparency, providing adequate resources and professional training and education. I believe that lectures such as this is enough education towards reducing stakeholders' expectation gap of the university's bursars. All right. As we begin to wind down, let's look at the strategies for effective financial management in the university system. That is the core of why we are here. In the 1998 work titled New Strategies for Financial Management in Universities, the experience of OECD member countries, Vicky Sanya and Michelle Martin gave 12 strategies that could facilitate effective financial management in universities. These strategies, which are broken into two national and institutional levels, are relevant today as they were about 28 years ago. I would therefore like to reproduce them, these strategies, in this lecture, albeit what mutatis mutandis. In terms of national strategies, first strategy is a mechanism for resource allocation. And if I want to read the details in the material, strategy 2 is allow for flexibility in the utilization of resources. Statistics say that you will have to create a framework conducive for distribution of resources. Number 4 strategy under national strategy is to make new resources available through students' loan. Of course, we can say that their fund scheme kind of attempt to address this strategy. Strategy 5 is that we should develop a private sector of the higher education. Of course, Nigeria has done that extensively through so many private universities. Strategy 6 is that we should allow for financial planning at the institutional level. That is saying that it's imperative that institutions need to plan with at least a short term or medium term. I think institutions we should plan. However, sometimes it becomes difficult to plan because when you make short or medium term plans based on the budget, and those budgets are not released, those plans cannot really go too far. So we are saying that the poor use of funds has facilitated planning in the university system. Now, under institutional strategies, the authors also mention 6 strategies. Number 1, integrate financial management and institutional policies. Number 2, say that we should facilitate the generation of income and cost recovery at the basic level. We mention many ways of doing that. If university intends to promote the generation of income and cost recovery, it is necessary to encourage basic units and staff to do so, and be willing to return an appropriate amount to university consultancy work should be encouraged, and individuals of basic units should be allowed to retain a part of the income through that process. Such work or projects count in application for promotion or senior post. That recommendation is powerful and will encourage to bring ideas from happens to represented them and incentive, right? Also give the order to do research. And even that work will also count for them in their proposal. The system that will be difficult and increase efficiency. In other words, we should aim at doing more with less, instead of doing less with so much resources. And the fourth is that we should develop appropriate administrative structure. There should be a structure in place that should be able to effectively we can grow from our unit as a cost center instead of duplicating so many cost an appropriate management information system that will be able to provide us the data for decision making from time to time. And of course, adequate training and retraining is also very important as in strategic management. All right. Okay. Again, we also have to bring us some revenue distribution strategies for financial stability. We also need to see some sources of ways of generating revenue and IGR in the university system. There are many, in order not to keep us too long, let us run to the conclusion. Okay, conclusion. This lecture set out to examine the financial management strategy in the university system, hypothesizing it as a bundle of theories and compounded dynamics. It painted a picture that it is the lack of proper understanding of the workings of and some issues around financial management that create a missing link between what university financial managers could do and what stakeholders think they can do. The study was motivated by the increasing need to create awareness and or deepen understanding of the existing public on the workings of the financial system in the university setting, amidst increasing misconception that the head of financial system or university is the source of all financial fortune and misfortune of the university. This blame game, it is noticed, started from the early universities and is common across state institutions the world over. The nature of their job and the sensitivity of the subject matter and finance, no doubt, create knowledge gap as well as expectation gap. To bridge or reduce this gap, the lecture adopted a conceptual analysis methodology in order to critically examine and clarify the concepts and the ideas used in the topic, so as to give better understanding of the concept of financial management and how they are applicable in the context of a university. The concept of an important finance was extensively addressed. What financial management is was also expounded, as well as why we must effectively and efficiently manage the evaluated resource called finance. The study identified some theatrics in financial management system, but however noted that a competent financial manager should not be deterred by these theatrics, but a proper understanding would enable him or her to navigate the system efficiently and effectively. The managers of the university financial system were identified to include the governing council, the vice chancellor, and the university bursar, thus creating the understanding that financial matters do not begin and end with the university bursar. The roles of each of these managers were clearly explained, as well as the financial process in the university system under the GIFMES platform. This process revealed that some of the financial functions are domiciled with the Office of Accountant General of the Federation, hence outside the total control of the university financial managers. Financial control, fiscal discipline, accountability, value for money transactions, and accurate record keeping for effective financial reporting were seen as the hallmark of a good financial governance. It was evident that there exists a expectation gap in what the bursar can do and what he or she is perceived as capable of doing. It is hoped that this knowledge gain of lecture would bridge this gap. Lecture concluded that public universities in Nigeria are facing the worst type of financial crisis due to gross underfunding by the proprietors and non-release of funds. However, beyond poor funding, poor management of funds was also identified as the bane of public universities in Nigeria. Effective strategies for financial management in the university system and creative avenues for revenue generation and diversification were recommended as a way of addressing the challenge of poor funding and financial mismanagement. It is hoped that this lecture has achieved its objective of educating and enlightening the public on the workings of the university financial system. Going forward, this understanding will reduce institution gap and misconception about financial management in the university system. Thank you very much. Thank you for enjoying.
for my students. Okay, I think the theatrics of financial management has been bundled carefully, and at point in time we will need 5 questions. I want of 6 questions, sir. This each school will bring a question, and each school will bring a question of a financial question that will unbundle what the theatrics is all about. Yes, I will start with the School of Agriculture. Is there anybody there? School of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, the presenter. My question is this. My name is Dr. Ubunesian. I am Provost School of Agriculture. I have a need for land in the permanent site, and I need to apply to the Vice Chancellor for a portion to cultivate. I want to know your place in this transaction, most especially with respect to my cost items and other financial obligations that will be required.
All the questions will be asked and he will answer. School of Engineering. School of Engineering. School of Engineering. Anyone to ask a question? Yes.
My question will be specific. We are interested in the future costs, evaluation of costs. But in your analysis, the management of finances, unbundling, the theater aspect of it, and the dynamics, you have not been exposed to us how the future costs of management of the fund of the university can be achieved. Please, can you explain in a very simple term or form how it can be achieved? Thank you.
Okay. School of Computing. Anybody from School of Computing? Okay.
The provost of School of thank you, the Vice Chancellor, distinguished scholars, staff, students. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, we are here having this very great discourse on university financial management. And there, here we have that you strategically mentioned unbundling the theatrics and understanding the dynamics. I want to know the relationship on a positive side. Does this theatrics able to integrate, hybrid each of the departments, school, and other component of the university in a very seamless relationship in financial management and transparency?
All right. That was the School of Computing and Information Technology, where the cyber security is located.
The School of Environmental,
School of Environmental Science and Technology. Are you here? Question? All right. If there's no question, I will move to School of Pure Smart. In fact, the lecturer, Dr. Erasmus, is from School of Smart.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, lecturer. The lecture is on financial technology, and we are delivering lecture today. We will help the lecturer to answer questions that he may not be able to answer because that lecture is from us. So we know all about it. Thank you.
Thank you. The School of Pure and Applied Sciences. I saw one of the professors in the School of Pure and Applied Sciences. I want that question to come from him. Okay, no question from School of Pure and Applied Sciences. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, presenter. While you were presenting, you mentioned that one of the ways you can generate revenue for the university is through grants, winning of grants. So I want to ask, if I bring in, say, an TED one NRF or maybe a Bill Melinda grant, what is the indirect cost that comes to the university in terms of percentage? Thank you.
All right, that was School of Pure and Applied Sciences. The last list, School of, is that all for the schools? Is that all for the schools? Okay. I will now call the lecturer, Dr. the extra class of the Federal University of Technology. Okay. I'm told that the student wants to give ask questions. 2 questions from students. One will come from engineering, and one will come from the School of Smart. I mean, smart. One from engineering. Yeah, there's somebody there. My question is, how can a student contribute? My question is, how can a student contribute positively? My question is, how can a student contribute positively? Okay, if I can how can students contribute positively for in accountability? Eh? Is that the question? All right, that's done. The second student from School of Smart. Okay.
The question, the question is, how can a student contribute positively to accountability and proper financial management to the within the university system?
Right. Thank you. The question is noted. The last question will come from School of Smart. Well, is there any student from Smart? Any student from Smart? If you don't ask questions from Smart, okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Okay, so my question goes this way. Concerning the nail phone. All right, concerning the nail phone, and I believe that all students of the Federal University of Technology is a beneficiary of the nail phone. And my question again is that what's the accountability that the university system is providing for the student concerning NELFON? Because most students applied for NELFON and the school asks for refund. Not all um, the students have received the refund. So I want to ask, what is the structure about the refund of NELFON? Thank you.
All right, that's a very good question. I will leave the floor now to the distinguished lecturer, Doctor. I sometimes call him Prof. My registrar would always get me engaged. He says the non-teaching staff should ask questions. Please, yes, the non-teaching staff, I don't know, from the registrar's office or from the bursary. Okay, Usmora, please go ahead.
My name is Udemo Somodwa. Permit me to stand on the 16 protocol. Thank you very much, sir, for the lecture. But I would really want you to unbundle the theatrics of newly appointed staff not being captured and not being paid for over 6 months now. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That question touched everybody. Let me sincerely appreciate all those who have asked questions. As my students would know, I always insist that you ask questions because asking questions gives me the impression that you were following me. When you ask questions, either you didn't understand or you will just say, hey, let this man do and go. Let me again sincerely thank you for the question. I want to use the bottom up approach, not because that last question is the most sensitive. Okay, smart, my student, accounting student, asked about the accountability towards nail fund uh, issue. Yes, nail fund is one of the areas that we say we must ensure strict accountability, and that is why we designate a highly qualified person to be in charge of that program. What we do, we are aware that the issue of refund is a big problem even at the national level. And so we said that for us, we process reform at the end of the session. So that because some students will require that we carry forward the money for the next academic year. They're right, and we do that. I know we have processed so much reform. The last batch that came in, I'm not sure it's up to 1 million naira. And so we have been processing reform as a matter of policy. We are doing that, and that is how to ensure accountability. We have records of all the students that have been given the loan. It already paid the fee before the loan comes. If you say that we should keep it for the next session or we refund it to you, provided you send in your account details. So that we have been doing, that is way of ensuring accountability. And one person that believes so much in the nail fund scheme, and always enjoy students to key into that scheme and benefit from it, is a way of also taking some responsibility of your own education. Because you know that you are going to repay this money, you take your education a little more serious. Okay. Now the general student talk about how can students contribute to the accountability, financial management and accountability in the university system. Well, you can do that by making sure that you pay your fees as I went you. You don't go and cook a trailer and think that we will receive it. If you're able to pay your fees, ensure you do your obligation. You are contributing to the accountability of this university. And like I said, the office of the poster is very, very open, and we give priority to students because I believe, I tell myself every time, students are the reason why we are here. Without students, we don't have any business in this place. And so we must give them respect, must give them attention whenever they come for any matter. So you can contribute towards that by making sure that you pay your fees, and anything you observe, you can always intimate us. Okay. Now, the pass. first ask about the the grants, issue of grant and indirect cost. If you bring in grant, one of the strategies, as I already encourage that, said that we should encourage people that bring in grant innovations and ideas that generate income. I even recommend that we should allow that person to return a portion, a percentage of that income. And beyond that, we should also credit that to that person for issue of promotion and so on. And so the modality, the percentage is not a stage targeting. That can always be worked out by the committee. We encourage you, once you bring in such a thing, of course, by that time there will be a committee in place to work out the detail. We say it's going to be a win-win thing. University is not interested in getting everything. Want to give you something substantial that will encourage you to do more and also encourage another person to do the same. So we are going to work out modality for that. Please bring as much as you can. We are going to accommodate you. Okay. Smart said they are going to any question I cannot, of course, my prof is there to answer. All right. The School of Computing was asking whether the Theatrics to discuss the things that affect the schools and department. Well, we did mention that these Theatrics and the dramatics personnel are more at the national in Abuja. Little that we do here is it's not a serious Theatrics issue of trying to manage funds that are available. It does not have any negative effect on the schools and department. To the extent that the guys in Abuja allow us to do give us what it takes to do the work here, then we don't have any things that will affect you unless you think otherwise. You let me know. I cannot put finger on any. Okay. The Prof of School of Engineering asked about the future costs of the management. I didn't really get that question very well. I didn't get that future question very well. But let me skip that. Maybe you come back and get that clear. The man from Agric asked about the allocation of land in the university permanent site. Land is one of the major resources of the university. And we don't always sit on that resource for the fun of it. We give it out for development if you have a good cost. And so if you have a good, there's what is called a PPP, private public partnership. If you have a project to do in the on our land, of course we can give you the land to do that project on a win-win arrangement. We will not sell the land to you, rather we'll give it if that project to be cited there will benefit the university as well as the person that wants to do the project there. So we allocate land if you have for a project that will benefit the university as well as the person behind that project. Again, like the issue of grants, it's always a committee to work out the details in a win-win arrangement. Professor White, I don't know what you want to come back again with that question. I don't really get it. The future cost of management, I don't get it. Or anyone don't understand it better can help.
Yeah, the lecturer, sir, it was mathematically asked. So let him explain with the equation. So please give the equation so that we can better explain it.
I was talking about for we in engineering, which you are aware, we're always interested about the future costs. You were talking about unbundling the theatrics of financial management and the dynamics. So I'm asking you, how can you spread that? How can you lay that in terms of the future?
Yes, thank you very much. But I got the question again now. Yeah, the issue of future costs. Of course, we in financial management we always try to match costs with revenue. We know that there are some future expected revenue, and we have to plan the cost associated with such revenue. So there's always a plan for every revenue and the cost associated with such expected revenue. So the dynamics of financial management demands that you do a plan, could be a short-term, long-term plan. Of course, that plan, of course, the cost element associated with those plans is always taken care of in a way that you must ensure that the project you want to embark upon is feasible, is viable. So that when you don't manage cost effectively, you may run into trouble. So we manage that effectively in our plans. I don't know whether that answered your question. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, the lecturer, Dr. Erasmus. But let me ask the last question. The question I'm asking is about endowment. The university have endowment. They build this endowment over the years, and they can use that endowment to do fun things. I can mention Harvard. Harvard is close to $1 trillion right now. I can mention MIT. The endowment of MIT is so big that if you have a mission to do master's degree or PhD, they will tap into that endowment and fund you. So how do we develop endowment for Federal University of Technology Abasi? When we get funds to get that done, sometimes a student will be graduating and they will go out and become CEOs of organizations, and the CEOs that will bring some fund to build the endowment of the university. So what is your mathematical equation on that?
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. That question is not disrespected because coming from MIT, the university, one of the leading universities in terms of endowments. I know you would like to model that here. In the lecture, we have talked extensively about endowment as a source of funding in the university system. Good enough for us. We have a man from MIT. Because I don't know between Harvard and MIT, they are fighting. This one will be first this time the other will be leading. They are known for high endowment. And I believe that our Vice Chancellor, taking a photo of that system, will give us the model, the trick that is used by MIT. But I know that it requires that we have endowment fund committee. We have a committee that goes out and sourcing for endowment.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, was an accountant, he will not give you an answer to the question. Put that question to you and see how you can work it out. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, on that note, I think we are almost close to where are we now? Number 10, the issuance of certificate of presentation to the remarks. Is there anybody? I've not seen anything here. But if somebody wants to say something here, I would only call my foreign, the man that I say sitting in front of me. If I say A, and if that A is not correct, it will say go back and look at it. Sir, for you being here is an honor, and we want you to help us goodwill message to this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this honor. With due respect to the Vice Chancellor of the University Management, able lecturer, the staff, and the students. I think it's a real, it's really my privilege to be part of this lecture. I'm a student of international economic law, and this is very interesting. Everybody has to do with finance. Everybody has to do with management. And as I was sitting here listening to the lecture, I remember when my third son was 3 years old, and someone gave him some money. And a few days after, I gave my wife money to buy some needs in the house. And he saw when I gave the money, and my son asked me a question. Hope that money you're giving to mom is not the money that I was given by someone. And I think the difference between someone who is rich and the one who is poor is contributed by availability of funds and the management of the funds. It's also the person that is successful and the person that's not successful to have to do with the management of the funds. And because I have been head of an arm of government and I have known the interest of a little bit of it, of financial management. Money will never be enough. Finances will never be enough. In the face of limited funds, the issue of management is crucial. And we've got to adopt it very well. But the issue of transparency is also very important. And the issue also of accountability is important. Sometimes people run into trouble because they are not transparent or accountable. The money comes and people know that how you have used the money and where the money has gone, there'll be little problems. You know, the university system is a very complex system where you have lecturers who are radicals, you have students that are radicals, and it ought to be so because this is, you know, an institution of higher learning. People, the standard is set here. Things must be properly done, and people want to know how the matter is done. But I also sat down and also listened to the theatrical procedure, and the procedure at the level where funds are released, the theatrical procedure at the level where funds are managed. And I said, these issues are important. I have been a witness to someone who headed a federal institution, not university, who went in, he had mental problem. When I say mental, I mean it. We had to struggle so much for him to, you know, for him to come down from it. He had a mental problem. The mental problem came as a result of this theatrical procedure about, you know, the release of funds, you know, and it also had to do with the theatrical procedure of management of the funds between between the board and the management, just like you have the university council. There up there you have the budget office, the office of the accountant general, the head of service and head of the service, and you come down, you notice that you have, you know, the council, the university council, and you have the management, the interplay, you know, is everything will rest upon the vice chancellor. And he had a mental breakdown because certain things were not happening properly. I think we will help ourselves so much by intervention to ensure that these theatrical processes are reduced to the level where things can be done speedily and seamlessly. And I really want to appreciate the lecturer for a job well done. And I've known him, you know, he introduced me, I've known him, and I didn't expect something small from him. And I expected, you know, that he would deliver the way he has delivered. Thank you so much for the opportunity you've given to me to be here.
Thank you, my lordship. I think I'm right by saying that. Okay. At this point, we go into the business of issuing of the certificate of presentation to the lecturer by my very self. At this point, I will ask the lecturer to step down, and I will also step down. Registrar, you have to come with me because if I don't give it well, you are going to be. I'm going to be in trouble. Query will come from registrar's office. All right. Where is the chairman of the committee? Yes. The chairman of the committee, you get this thing, and then you give it to me. Dr. Mbobo, Erasmus, Mbobo, but they just wrote here E. It can be H. The 10th lecture series presented by you. We are honored and humbled. Federal University of Technology is quite happy for what you've given us, particularly the theatrics of what you call theatrics of reimbursement and all that. We learned a lot. But the other aspect that I didn't want to say something about is when you were going to Accountant General and you were answering the last question of how the money would be paid. I would have just expected you to say, let us see next week if we can get that money released to us. But we did not say that because I don't want to put us into trouble. Yes. So we are honored to give you this. I think this will be in your library and you cherish it. And when this university becomes the MIT of Nigeria or the Harvard of Nigeria, you always go back and tell your parents and children, do this one. Congratulations. Please take a picture. Register. Come next to her, to him now. And yes. And please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Our guest lecturer, thank you very much. I want to believe that our lecturer has been able to convince you and not confuse you regarding the unbundling and the theatrics of understanding financial management in the university system. Thank you very much. We're almost coming to the end of this lecture series, this public lecture series. I want to thank each and every one of you who sat through the lecture, all of you who listened, all of you who contributed in one way or the other. We really do appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I think our lecturer deserves a resounding applause, please. Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Thank you very much, Adia Bossa, for not confusing us, but for convincing us and for unbundling all of the theatrics that is involved in understanding the financial management in the university system. Thank you very much. We're almost coming to the end, but my job here is not done. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, erudite scholars here seated, may I, at this point in time, invite to the podium After we have, the Vice Chancellor has issued the certificate of presentation to the lecturer, may I, at this point in time, invite to the podium the chairman of the public lecture series, in the person of Professor Ime Jonah More, to come up here and unveil to us the dynamics and who will be the one giving the fourth lecture series of our great institution. Professor, sir.
Thank you. Afternoon once again. You can bear with us the witness that indeed that this lecture was packaged to really act as or serve as a catalyst in stimulating intellectual engagement and public discourse in order to proffer solutions to critical issues in the society, and even in particular in this institution as a university. We appreciate the lecturer, sir. Thank you. Indeed, please to bear with the committee that the next lecture series, form of public lecture series, which we call the fourth lecture series, would be formally announced. The date would be announced. The topic would be announced accordingly. Please bear with us. That would be put in the public space. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Sorry, let me also say something to really appreciate. I saw some bar moving in the hall. I don't know where it came from. I also aware that, like I said in the course of the presentation, this was highly supported by two of the friends of the university. It seems to me the other from university have done what I'm saying here, because the last I checked, we've not approved anything so far yet for this program, although the BC is going to do in arrears. I must want to sincerely thank everyone who have contributed to make this occasion what it is. So really indebted to my students who have made me proud. In line with what I have said, attending the lecture is 5 marks. If you have attended, take attendance, 5 marks. Those I'm teaching, those I'm lecturing, it's allowed, Prof. 5 marks. Control assessment. Control assessment is 5 marks for this lecture. Yes, yes, I'm going to assess them. So you have a copy of this program if you were here, so you have 5 marks. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate those who have supported us. Thank you. God bless you. Please, the sponsor is 5 marks added to the continuous assessment. I will know those students that are getting that 5 marks so that we know how they got it. Please, this is a lecture series that we always, but when it comes to the time when we have inaugural lecture, in a year's time or so, we will, inaugural lecture comes once in a while, mostly for those who are just newly promoted or who have been given appointment to manage a system. So we will announce that, but this only just for public lectures. There's no other thing in addition to that. So please bear with us. We will announce when the inaugural lecture will come. It's always coming when we are about doing convocation or before the convocation or promotion of the lecturer, the full professor. Thank you very much. I will, the
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. The bossa, the lecturer today, it goes on to show that your students are indeed in love with what you do for them. May I, at this point in time, invite to the podium for her vote of thanks, our dear beloved registrar of our great institution, of Yongita Income.
Thank you very much. My job here is very simple. It's just to unbundle the appreciation. I'm just here to unbundle the appreciation of the management of this university and the committee of this lecture series. I don't know what is wrong with Professor Morin. When the Vice Chancellor finished presenting, you announce the lecturer. When Professor Akko finished presenting, you announce Dr. Mbobo. Now, Dr. Mbobo has finished presenting and you have bluntly refused to announce the next presenter. You have to unbundle that presenter. My That was on the pleasant side. What's aside? The fourth university that I was told that the wife of the bossa delivers every month. And I'm happy that the wife of Adia Bossa is here. Madam, when we didn't see you, I was like, maybe you are in the hospital. And today is 29. You have refused to deliver. I wish and I'm praying that you don't need inducement to deliver. Thank you very much when you will deliver at the end of the month, because we are told Butler's wife delivers every month end. Let me go to the former chief judge of the Akwa Ibom State, my brother Justice Godwin Abraham. We thank you for your time that you have come to be here with us. My friend, my brother, my comrade, my junior colleague. He's my junior colleague as far as registrar is concerned. He was, I have said he was my senior, was my friend, he was a comrade, but now he's my junior colleague, Barrister Bonavas the Isaiah, the registrar. You are welcome. I want to appreciate the provost of schools of this dear university, the heads of departments, the staff, and yes, Nigeria today. I want to thank all the staff and students that is 20 minutes past 4 o'clock, and you are all here with us to listen to the unbundling. You see, the bossa gave us 5 mathematical theories. When you greet him, good morning, sir, and he tells you no money. So you see why he says there is no money. Because he has given us, he said, business approval plus finance minus approval is equal to no money. But he has not told us one theory. Business approval plus money plus bosses looking at it minus the people in the bursary looking at it and remembering that you caused them trouble and they would say no money. So thank you very much, because you have been able to unbundle that case for us. And we thank you and we pray that next time that you are coming, we will unbundle another theory for you. And it is my prayer that as you are going back to spend your weekend to your different destinations, the good Lord will take you safely back home in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our dear registrar has offered the word of thanks, and of course, I think she included a prayer. That should suffice as we bring the third lecture series of the Federal University of Technology, the topic Financial Management in the University System, unbundling the theatrics, understanding the dynamics to a formal close. Thank you very much. As you go back to your various destinations, we pray for safe travels, and we look forward to seeing you shortly when we have the fourth lecture series. There will be an order of photograph. Order of photograph, please. Our lecturer and all the provosts here present. If you would do us the honor, let's try to create memory out of this event. Memories, actually. Order photograph outside, please. The provost, all provosts here present, all heads of departments, all teaching staff, as well as non-academic staff. Please, let's take this photograph as a memorabilia to solidify this event today. The pictures will be taken outside, just outside the entrance of the lecture theater. The staircase is there. You can all line up there with the guest lecturer. Please. Order a photograph, please.
Order of photograph. We start with the management team and the lecturer, please. The lecturer and the management team, along with the former teachers, then the present order of photograph, please. The first order of photograph is the lecturer, along with the management team, and the former teacher of acquiring states and registrar of Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Swazi, and the wife of the lecturer. That is the first order of photograph. All heads of departments to be on the list. That will help. That will help. All the groups to join the management team meeting. All the programs of schools to join the lecturer along with the management. All the programs of schools, the 6 programs of schools to join the management team along with the lecturer. All the heads of departments, the departments of the department should be on standby, take their turn. All the heads of departments will come to the quarter. All the heads of departments should take their turn now. Members of the public lecture committee to have a program with the management and the lecturer, please. All the staff and all the students will come down. Members of the public lecture committee to join. Members of the public lecture committee to join the program. Please. Public staff should get set. All the public staff should get set. All the public staff to join immediately. All the students that are here to join the program. All the students. All the students should join. All the students will join. Staff and students can join now. Staff and students can join. All the friends, all the staff, friends and students can join. All the staff, all the students that wish to join, this is your zone. Thank you so much.